Okay, so I just walked into the music lab, waiting on Billy right now to do this interview with him for Dirty Rock Nation. So, yeah, we're gonna hang out, wait for Billy for a few minutes, and then we'll get this done. We'll be back to you in a bit. Dirty Rock Nation. Fuck you, infidels. That's him, right there. See him? You can hear him already too. Loudest fucking guy in the parking lot. Billy fucking Milano. Back to you, all this change that's been going on with you over all these years, stemming from the diabetes and just the spiritual awakening that you've had. What's next? What do you have any idea what's next for you? I mean, what is the next step? I know you've got mastery.
Well, that's a really interesting thing.
Do you have any idea? Is there something? Do you just let it all? Is it just gonna kind of pop into you? And
I think
just
at the end of the day, what you just heard, the first answer that I gave is basically the premise of what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Like a lot of people have asked me to do comedy, and I've done my first comedy show with JT Haberstadt from Altercation Records. And he's like, Billy, just go up there and tell one of your stories because you're funny when you tell your stories. I'm like, how am I funny? Am I like funny like a clown? I did Joe Pesci, and they laughed. But I told my story about my interactions with Al Pacino, the actor, and everyone seemed to enjoy it. But I finished my comedy show with where my mind is really at. I want to take that knowledge that I have and encode it in the things that I do in my life.
Absolutely.
And that's where I'm going to. That's my future. My future is comedy, spoken word. And I don't want to do spoken word per se like Henry Rollins does. I literally want to engage people in a conversation, much like Krishnamurti did,
sure,
and see what people are thinking. Not because I want to be Dr. Bill instead of Dr. Phil, but what I'd like to do is see what people have to say as far as what they perceive to be the important issues, the important moments of their life. And because we are living in a time where things are moving exponentially faster, they're rolling over, and it's picking up speed to the point where we can't
put the brakes on. We can't even
communicate human being to human being anymore. We have literally nothing to filter out the information overload, and that's because you don't have a society based around family and love and understanding of community. How many people today look at the neighbor outside their house and say good morning or go over and shake his hand? It's unheard of, and it's only in the last 40 years that's happened, and that's because we've become preoccupied with our own self-empathy, or apathy, I should say, and it's pathetic. And I refuse to be a part of it.
I think that's one of the beauties of being here in Austin, why I like it so much. I mean, there's a lot of the things that I don't like about it, which are a lot of the things that you have a problem with. The whole, live music capital of the world, live music sweatshop capital of the world, whatever you want to call it. I think this may be one of the last messages of spirituality, of open-mindedness, of waving at your neighbor. There's still, but you've got a lot of people that are coming here because, what was it? 10 years ago or something like that, when they put in the magazine one of the top 10 cities to live in is Austin, and all of a sudden all these douchebags are moving here from all over the fucking place because they think it's cool and they can make or break and do all this kinds of thing. I mean, you can still wave at somebody, say hey to them walking down the street, that type of deal. You can still carry on a conversation from time to time with people
you can
in
do
Austin.
That in almost any major metropolis.
Yeah.
But saying hello by engaging someone and saying hello because you embrace them as part of your community is two different philosophies.
Yes.
And that's exactly what's not happening. And in Austin, while there is a lot of spiritual and communal efforts, it's negated by the fact that no one at the end of the day introduces themselves. And if you know something about me, and it's a lot of maybe people don't know that I promote, and I'm a fan of country and honky tonk music, bluegrass,
absolutely. It's one of
and
the questions
ragtime.
I
love all this stuff. I think at the end of the day, when I do the show that I do with Bull McCabe's, the Atomic Honky Tonk, the first thing I do is I engage the artist as a human being,
absolutely,
and I introduce him to everyone I know, and that's in that room. I mean, I think you've been in that circle where I've introduced you to people and you already know them, but I don't know that you know them.
Yep.
And people laugh at me like, yeah, of course I know him, and I laugh, and they're like, Billy, I already know that guy, and I'm like, I know that, or I know that now, but I didn't know that before I made the magnanimous gesture of introducing someone to you in your community.
Absolutely.
And it's not just as much as networking; it is fulfilling the human dignity, which is really what it is. It's a dignified thing to do, to reach out and say hello. And I'm adamant about that. There is nothing will take place over a handshake and a look in that person's eye, hello.
Well, you know, let's go take a break real quick, and we'll come back with Billy. Is that cool with you, man?
Yep.
All right.